HelpMeWithStats.com was used to create this tutorial that can help us understand how to simplify the equation for SS regression. Let's see how the equation for SS regression can be simplified. We'll begin by recalling the equation for the Pearson correlation. The correlation, R, is the sum of products divided by the square root of the product of the sum of squares for x and the sum of squares for y. If we square both sides of this equation, we now have an equation for R squared. SS regression is equal to the coefficient of determination, R squared, multiplied by the total error, SS. R squared is the sum of products squared divided by the product of the sum of squares for x and the sum of squares for y. Now let's turn to our regression sum of squares equation. The regression sum of squares is R squared multiplied by the sum of squares for y. If we substitute the equation for R squared from above, then we now have the regression sum of squares equal to the square of the sum of products divided by the sum of squares for x multiplied by the sum of squares for y, and then multiplied by the sum of squares for y. But we can simplify this equation by removing the sum of squares for y terms. If we split the squared sum of products into two separate terms, then we can move one sum of products to the right, and leave one sum of products in the numerator. We can simplify the quotient of the sum of products and the sum of squares for x to be the slope. We now have a much easier equation to solve. We've already calculated the slope and the sum of products, so the regression sum of squares is just the slope multiplied by the sum of products. For more help with statistics, HelpMeWithStats.com is a free website that has more than 70 tutorials, as videos, or as self-paced slideshows. You can also learn how to conduct more than 60 statistical analyses by watching videos that show complete solutions, or by working through an unlimited number of examples using the step-by-step problem solvers. Finally, you can access a comprehensive stats textbook with more than 685 review questions. Thanks for watching. If you find these resources valuable, please share with your friends, teachers, and professors.